Welcome to another episode of the Financial Armor Show. My name is Jose Rodriguez, investment advisor here at Cooper Financial, and your host for today, alongside my co-host Jaclyn. How you doing, Jaclyn?
Jose, we are back. We are back
Yes, we're
and
back
better than
together.
ever. We are back together. I have missed you. I've missed your voice. I missed your face. It's so great to see you.
Thank you, thank you. It's been a quiet ride. I thought usually our busy season ends in April.
Mm-hmm.
This year it just decided to keep going until the
Oh,
summer, and then it's been a nonstop. I look up, I wake up, it's Monday, and then I work, and then I look up again and it's Friday again. It's like, oh my gosh, where'd the time go?
yes,
Uh,
yes. And just to let our listeners and viewers know today, Jose, you and I were both saying that today is a Monday. We are recording this on a Monday and it feels like a Monday. So if our
oh yeah,
words are a little, slow, it's a Monday.
yeah. But to give everybody an update of what's been going on in my
Yeah.
life, I went to Disney for the first time.
Yes.
Never been there before. Didn't know what to expect. It's cool.
Cool.
I thought. I mean, I'm not. I'm not the biggest Disney fan in the world,
Okay.
but I can appreciate it.
Okay.
Peter Pan. I'm very nostalgic about Peter Pan and Pinocchio, all those stories.
Okay.
Um, so it was very nostalgic, wholesome.
Mhm.
Um, it was very pretty, and there's a lot of attention to detail, which is really crazy. Every single little thing inside of Disneyland is Mickey labeled, a Mickey
Yes.
logo on it,
Have you
and
seen the stuff where, like, they have to point with 2 fingers? Yeah.
no.
So, like, if you ask someone for directions, they have to point because that's, like, a Mickey's point or something. So if they're like,
Because he
"Oh,
only
go
has
this
3 fingers?
direction." Yeah, something like that, where
Interesting.
it's literally, like, down to the T of what people look like, how they give you directions, like, it's
Uh-uh.
insane the amount of work and deliberate planning goes into it.
Yeah, and apparently we got pixie dusted. Have you ever heard of that term before?
No. What is
Apparently,
that?
pixie dusted is random acts of kindness to some that the employees do to, or cast members, they call them, that
Yep.
they do to people. And at the end of the night, they always do a parade.
Mhm.
And there's VIP sections. I wasn't aware of VIP sections. I didn't know there was a thing. So I'm walking around trying to figure out where should I stand so I can watch this. And I just asked a cast member, an employee,
Yep.
hey, where should I go? And then it was my girlfriend's birthday. That's why we were there for her birthday.
Fun.
Um, so she's wearing one of those badges that says, hey, it's my first time and it's my birthday. So
Nice.
uh, we asked, hey, where should we sit? I don't even, there's blocked off areas that are VIPs. Like,
Mhm.
I don't, where do the plebe, the people that
The
don't have
general
the VIP,
public.
the general people, that don't pay for the VIP, where do they sit? And they said, "Oh, you have to stand somewhere else." It was over there. And
Uh-huh.
then so I was like, "Okay." I mean, I didn't really think much of it. It's not VIP. I didn't pay for it, so
Yep.
I got to go hang out with the rest of the people. So I started
The rest.
walking over there, and this guy, it looks like it took him a second to think about things, and he
Mhm.
just went and chased me and said, "You know what? I'm gonna get you a seat at the VIP section, and you're gonna have front row to this parade." Which, by the way, the parade was beautiful. It was just
Yes.
a lot of lights, very nice, all the princesses were saying hi, and it was just
Do you know how to
very
princess
cool.
wave?
Uh, like that?
No, 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 no. No, 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 like this.
I don't know how to flow that way. I don't flow that way.
Oh, I
But
love this.
but
That is so cool.
that's what Jose has been up to. Well, I went there for about 2 days, just Monday and Tuesday
Mhm.
about 2 weeks ago. And that's what I've been up to. Other than that, I just been head down working all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, an update on me is that I'm grinding away at wedding planning and starting a life with somebody and house hunting and all this, and so, Jose, you've been right there with me with the buying the
Mhm.
house, so now
Yep.
you just gotta forward all that information that you learned during this process to
Yeah.
me, but
Yep.
it's meeting after meeting. I'm like,
Yeah.
every evening is something.
Yeah. And just trying to catch up and make sure you don't drown this whole process.
Yes, 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 and planning a wedding, I don't care what people say. People always say, like, "Oh, it should be a blast." No, it's not. It's stressful. I
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't recommend. I mean, when you get married, Jose, do a lower scale. Just have fun with it.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too. It's cheaper, and I mean, I'm also thinking, why don't you just spend all this wedding money on a really crazy trip to, I don't
Yes,
know,
yes,
France or something? I don't know.
yeah. Italy or Australia are our
Yeah,
2.
but it's her dream. She wants to have her dream of the,
Yes.
wedding
Uh-huh,
dress and,
uh-huh.
at the church and all that stuff, all the very, ceremonial
Yeah,
type
that's what I
of.
thought I wanted too, which is how we ended up in this situation, so
Yeah.
well,
Um,
anyways, let's get into today's episode because I
yeah,
think this one is one that has been coming up lately, and
yeah.
especially right now with careers and the job market. So Jose, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, I started seeing this trend of I get these newer people coming into our business, and I ask them, well, what questions do you have? That's usually how I start any
Mhm.
interactions with anybody. So what questions do you have for me? How can I help? Essentially, it's kind of like going to the doctors. Okay, what hurts, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I've seen a trend. It's a lot of people are getting laid off,
Mm.
and it's people in their 60s, 62, 63. They said, well, I got unexpectedly retired because
Mhm.
my company restructured, or they laid
Mhm.
off a bunch of people, and I'm here, I'm trying to figure things out. And so I started thinking about that kind of conversation that I've had a lot in the past couple of months. Okay, that maybe I should make a podcast
Mhm.
about this, because I notice there's a lot of trend as far as advice that I give, or just conversations. What do those conversations look like with those people that ask me those questions?
Mhm.
That maybe hopefully somebody that is out in the public listening or watching us can kind of listening, and if they're going through something like this, they can learn something. But the first thing is, and I'm gonna have a bunch of bullet points that notes on this, but the first thing I wanna start with the emotional part. The
Jose and emotions? What? I thought we were gonna start with the economy or why this is happening. Oh, this is a turn. I like it.
I'm trying to change my ways. My
I
girlfriend is
like
changing me.
it.
Oh,
All right, so emotions with getting maybe laid off, and we're talking, or kind of right before retirement or
yeah,
5 years ish, and
yeah,
really when you're planning for retirement, and that's like the next thing that you're looking at, and then all of a sudden you're getting laid off.
yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of emotions that come with it. Obviously, you just lost your job, and a lot of
Mhm,
people for 20, 30 years, they've just been head down working to
mhm,
and save for retirement,
mhm,
right? Um, and then they get unexpectedly laid off, and it's fairly close to a retirement. They're like, okay, well, can this just be a retirement? So they
mhm,
change their minds on I'm on the safe accumulation phase, and then they switch overnight to, okay, maybe I'm in the distribution phase, the retirement phase.
mhm,
And putting the money aside, as far as mindset goes, because there's a change on that side. One of the really deep conversations I had with somebody that I just met with about this is that, well, have you come to terms emotionally with
mm,
not working anymore?
mhm.
And the answer to that, majority of the time, is no.
Yeah. Because where is your identity? Your identity
Mhm.
is your job, typically. I mean,
Mhm.
when I ask you, Jose, who are you? Well,
Mhm.
what do you respond with?
Yeah, I am my job pretty much, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not a healthy thing to say, but it is true. I mean, I because and
Mhm,
that happens with a lot of successful people that are,
mhm,
uh, doing okay in their life, is because they're passionate about what they do, and
mhm.
therefore they just succeed at
Yeah.
what they do in their field. So I relate to a lot of people in that aspect that I talk to, that they just feel so down. They have these, they just think that they're gonna go back to work. But I mean, maybe they can, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's a lot harder when you're in your 60s and trying to
Mhm.
get back into what you were doing.
Mhm.
Maybe you were an executive, maybe you're a director about something, the higher level leader in your field, and then all of a sudden now you get laid off and you're not that persona anymore.
Mhm.
Now you have to think about things differently. So
Mhm.
it's now everybody processes coming to terms with being retired differently, but I would say is just think about deeply about what, as a person, who you are, what do you
Mhm.
like to do, what are your hobbies,
Mhm.
um, and everybody I talk to, by the way, not just people I just got laid off, but everybody I talk to, just say money is just a tool to accomplish something. Tell me what you're looking to accomplish. Because
Mhm.
usually people, oh my gosh, I have $1 million or $2 million,
Mhm.
or whatever the amount is, it doesn't
It's your
matter.
gateway.
Is
Mhm.
yeah. I just you think about what you want your life to look like, and
Mhm.
then we can work together on the see if the math is going to work out.
Yeah. I think another thing too is, I can put myself in this situation because I am one that likes to have some control over
Hmm.
my life, and I think once you or if you are laid off, you lose that sense of control.
Hmm.
And you realize that what can I have control over? And
Hmm.
so it's taking a step back and realizing, okay, you don't have control at your job anymore, which is okay. Now let's take control of a new thing, over our
Hmm.
finances or our budget or, where are we going to go from here so we can still
Hmm.
have that sense of control.
Yeah, and speaking of control, now since there's some things that you can't control anymore, which is your income,
Mhm.
what can you control? So
Mhm.
what are now we're going into the practical part of it, the non-emotional side,
Mhm.
which is obviously first thing is stop spending all the unnecessary spending. If you were thinking about going on vacation, if it's already paid for, then I guess you already have to go. But all these extracurricular stuff, just stop, just put it on pause for now
Mhm.
until we get it all figured out.
Mhm.
Um,
And
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 when
I
you're
just wanna mention something, Jose. Put it on pause until we have it all figured out. I'm just
Mhm,
repeating what you said because, this does not mean forever. This does not
mhm.
mean your life changes, we can never go on a trip again. It just means for right now, let's take a pause and let's reevaluate and maybe readjust your plan.
Yeah, when reevaluating everything, and the plan is that's also involving a financial planner to make sure everything
Mhm.
is thought of, but also on a personal perspective is think about what kind of hobbies are you going to be doing? Are my
Yeah.
hobbies sustainable with my level of resources, right?
Yep.
And some
Maybe that
people,
golf? I don't know.
yeah, or I've heard people get into horses when they don't have horse money, and or 3D printing when they don't have
Okay.
3D printer money. And
Yep.
let's be realistic with what's sustainable in your life.
Mhm.
Those kinds of things. Um, so and this could also be very, figuring it out as far as money wise. It's always going back to the basics. What is your budget? What are your
Mhm.
household expenses? Are you living outside your means? Do you have any
Mhm.
debt?
Mhm.
What kind of income do you need to have the lifestyle that you do want?
Yes, how do you
Um,
sustain the lifestyle that you
yeah.
have right now, and what do
Mhm,
you need to do that?
and then can your resources, your assets sustain that lifestyle that you're looking for? Uh,
Mhm.
it's a yes or no. We build it all together for you, um, and then we answer that question. Yeah, can you
Yeah.
do this? Yes, no. Um, the
Well,
second point. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, Jose, I mean, one thing that comes to mind when I think about a layoff is kind of the benefits that surround maybe your job and especially health insurance. So,
Mm-hmm.
what do you say about that, or what do you think about health insurance when you get laid off? What happens?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was going to be my next point. The health insurance piece is probably going to be the most expensive piece. Depends on what age you are,
Mhm.
when you were laid off. I mean, if you're 62, 63, 60, I mean, you're going to have to go into the marketplace, and
Mhm.
that could be, and depending on, your income, what you show in your taxes, that could affect how much you pay in premiums.
Uh-huh.
That's when you've heard it in our podcast many times. But if you have IRAs and you're tapping into IRAs for money, you're showing income. Uh,
Mhm.
so that could affect your premiums, your healthcare premiums. Um,
Oh.
so but if you're 65, as far as planning purposes, you should think about it from if you're 60, you only really have to pay or think about this expensive healthcare expense until 65, because at 65 is when you file for Medicare. And then
Okay.
things have become a little bit better as far as cost wise. But again, Medicare, it's connected, and Medicare premiums are connected to how much you make, and
Mm.
that's where IRMAA is comes from, income related monthly adjustment amount. Um, uh, that is connected to how much you make, how much you show in your taxes. So again, that's where we always talk about IRAs being, always moving things to tax free, because usually
Mhm.
tax free is just make gives you more flexibility in your life,
Yeah.
um,
I
to
mean, it
prevent
seems
from all that.
yeah, it seems like what you're saying is, like, once there's an action here, there's a reaction over here.
Mhm.
And if you
Mhm.
wanna react over here, then the reaction is over here.
Yeah.
So it gets a little confusing where you make one move, but then there's always something around your
Mhm.
shoulder that kinda pops up.
Yeah.
And so that's where a good financial advisor like yourself comes into play, because
Yeah.
then you can lay out kind of the different avenues you go down, right?
And there's a lot of, it's a very complex way of putting everything together, because obviously there's the healthcare expense and there's the Medicare IRMAA expense.
Mhm,
Obviously it's less, but it depends on where your retirement funds are at. You may or may not have control over how much income you have or show.
mhm,
And that's where really the planning comes in, and really shows its power,
mhm.
and its benefits. Um,
How
Talking about
about
retire I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I mean, how about just, like, if I wanted to maybe talk about going back to work part-time, going
Mhm,
to work at, like, a Target or a Walmart
mhm.
or something like that where I can make some income maybe for that healthcare. How would you recommend that?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. There's so many places nowadays that you can get really good benefits just working part-time.
Mhm,
I've seen, Walmart does that,
mhm,
Costco does it, Starbucks does it,
mhm,
Target does it. All these big companies that you can just work part-time, and then they can provide those kinds of benefits for you. They can save
mhm.
you a lot of money, and also a little extra, income can definitely help make your assets go a longer way.
Yeah.
Um, so that I would say that that's a good way. But again, some people, and that's where coming to terms is really the difficult part, because some people might see that as a stepping down, or
Yes.
they themselves look themselves down because they
Mhm,
work at a Target or Starbucks or Walmart,
mhm,
anything like that. And I mean, in my opinion, there's really no shame on doing that, and
mhm.
working those. And there's not really a reason why you wouldn't do it.
Mhm. Well, and
Just
it can
just
be a
emotionally.
short-term plan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just talked about, age 65, right?
Mhm.
If we can just get you to age 65, maybe you work
Mhm.
part-time until then, and then your benefits start kicking in,
Mhm.
and you can figure out a plan from there. But yeah, who cares? If it's
Mhm.
only 2 or 3 years that you're talking about, maybe it
Mhm.
is a good thing to fill that gap.
Yeah. But again, people have to come to terms with that part.
Mhm.
That's the difficult part, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Um, but let's speak, and also another point I wanted to make is, let's be careful of where we start taking money from. We have a bunch of
Mm.
buckets available to us, um, and people, they just, for some reason, it might look tempting to go into their investments, their retirement investments first,
Mhm.
because it's probably the bigger bucket.
Mhm.
Um, but I would say the order of operations that I would think about this, is I would leave any IRA and Roth IRA money last in this
Okay.
situation. I would start out with the emergency fund, which is safe. and
Mhm.
then, if that runs out, go into your non-qualified, which is non-IRA monies,
Okay.
and go from there. And then go from if you ran out of that money, you go into an IRA,
Mhm.
traditional IRA monies. And then
Yeah.
if you run out of that, then it's Roth IRA money. So that's kind of the sequence or the order of operations, if you will,
Yeah,
that
I
I
like
would
that.
withdraw money from.
Okay.
Um, but I would because I would leave the IRA and the Roth alone for as long as possible because they're tax advantaged in their own way.
Mhm.
Traditional IRAs, they grow tax deferred, so they don't pay any taxes until you take it out.
Mhm.
Um, and then Roth is always tax free. Tax free growth is better than any growth there is.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why that's the one that you want to leave the longest to grow the longest because that's going to
Okay.
give you the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, and isn't the, Roth account, isn't that available to you at 59 and a half?
Yeah. So the IRAs and the uh, Roth IRA, the traditional
Mhm.
IRAs and the Roth IRA, they're both available at 59 and a half.
So that
Uh,
sounds tempting to me.
yes, it is tempting. And so it's just have to be disciplined in the way you do things. But
Mhm.
again, how are people going to know what they don't know? And that's where
Mhm.
I think working with a financial planner or financial advisor is really where uh, the where we shine the most is is in this scenarios,
Mhm.
because we can really just point people the right direction. Because this is where I remember when I was in my previous firm, which I won't mention, but it's just stocks and bonds, right? And then if
Mhm.
somebody tells me, "Hey, I just got laid off, and I have, what do I do about my Medicare? What do I do about my about all these accounts that I have in my
Mhm.
planning?" And then I come to him and I say, "Oh, well, you just have to do the 60/40. 60%
Mhm.
equities, 40% bonds. That should fix all of your problems."
Nope.
Yeah.
It's
Like
not
it's
a one size fits all.
no, no, and that's
Mm-mm.
the thing that I used to do back then, and
Mhm.
I just knew it wasn't right. It
Mhm.
is just that does not fix anybody's problems. Just
Yeah.
picking them, just even if you were a really great stock picker, still not gonna fix all your problems.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and to bring it kind of back to the emotion here, because that's where I come in. I bring in the emotion.
yeah.
When you are laid off, emotionally, you're in crisis. You are in
Mhm,
panic because it's not something that you expected. It's not in the plan. And what do is you go and you panic, you know, try to get money here and I'm going to go dabble into this account and I'm going to dabble into this account and you're such in panic mode that you don't even think about maybe the next steps. Or,
mhm,
hey, we can take a pause. We
mhm,
can regroup. We can talk with our financial advisor. This is not an urgent thing that needs to happen as right now. And
mhm,
so I think just remembering that it's okay to take a breather. Let's take emotions as much as we can out of it before we make any rash decisions.
mhm.
And really talking with your financial advisor.
Yeah, that's actually where I've heard this study, read this study where the majority of the people where they get the most benefit outside of financial planning, we
Mhm.
talk having as far as the people that have a financial advisor
Mhm.
is investing in general is just emotional. It just is.
Yeah.
Investing in general, it is. I mean, it
Yeah.
is. So you need somebody that is level headed, not emotional about the decisions you make,
Uh-huh.
which is probably why uh, I'm good at my job because I'm not as emotional as most. Um,
Mhm.
so that's in that level of level-headedness and, okay, let's step back really quick and not freak out, and let's look at the
Mhm.
situation. What's the best move? What's the next best
Mhm.
move? And then we
Mhm.
make those decisions. That's gonna be anybody that thinks that way and plans that way with their financial advisor is gonna be way better off than somebody that acts reacts emotionally to every
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I would
um
also say, lean on others around you. And I don't mean obviously yes, your financial advisor, but your friends, your family, your
mhm,
people that you surround yourself with because, they'll help you emotionally. And that
mhm,
emotional part is a big piece of what we're talking about. And
yeah,
so, just emotionally, they're going to have your back. They're going to be there and say, "Hey, it's okay. We'll figure this out. You're not
mhm.
alone."
Yeah, and That's part where I'm probably not gonna be the best on that part. I'm not gonna be as emotionally supportive as maybe your cousins are, your
Yep,
uncles, your
yep.
you know, your friends and family. I mean, I try to be. That's something I'm working on. That's something Jaclyn is helping me with. She's
Y
my emotional
yes.
advisor.
There we go. Actually, that's a really great way to put it, Jose. I really like that.
That's why we balance each other out.
Look it, I
That
can make you laugh, I can make you yes, I love
yeah,
this. Great.
lighten me up.
Yeah.
No,
Uh,
but I really hope, and with everything that's been going on lately, I really hope people that are, that are going through this find us somewhere, through YouTube,
Mhm,
Facebook, anywhere, and they just stumble upon this if they're going through this, and they find some reassurance that
mhm.
the end of the world is not here.
Yeah.
Is not the end of the world, and there's
Mhm,
something you can do about it if
mhm.
you play your cards right.
Yeah.
And, actually some of the people that I'm working with right now, I hope they listen to this and they know it's gonna be it's not as bad as they think it might be.
Yes.
Um, so that's hopefully the message that I can get to somebody.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Jose, and that's a great note to end on. And I also just want to mention, this is a rocky time with a lot. And we're there this does happen and this is happening. And so it's important to find a support group and maybe that's finding other people that are in the same situation as you. Maybe
Mhm,
that's going to your church community, maybe that's going to your friends and family, your financial advisor. But go to a support group that will help you through this because this is a difficult time and it's scary, but you will make it through. And making the right choices and being guided. You have a guide sitting across from you, right here. I'm sitting across
mhm,
from one.
mhm.
That's fantastic at guiding through the process, so you're never alone. Jose, before we finish today, why don't you share with our listeners how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can get a hold of me by going on our website, financialarmorshow.com, or give us a call at 888-390-5277.
Well, perfect. Well, great episode. Just to our listeners and viewers, if you are experiencing this, give Cooper Financial Group a call and see where you can go from there. They're willing, they're able, they're available to help. And this is scary for everybody, so we're there with you. But thank you, Jose. Anything else before we conclude today?
No, I just really want people to because I've had a lot of people to ask me, do we have minimums? And people get scared of asking questions because,
Hmm.
in our industry, if somebody can't make a buck off of you, it's they usually don't talk to you. We're not that
Hmm.
way. I don't care if you have $10 to your name. If you need help, a quick call that give you some guidance, I'll do that. I mean, we don't. There's no obligation on any of those calls, so
Hmm.
I can just hop on the phone real quick and just guide you and point you the right direction at the very least.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel happy. So,
Yeah. Start somewhere, start
mhm,
anywhere, right?
mhm, exactly.
Well, thank you, Jose, and that does it for this episode of Financial Armor with our host, Jose Rodriguez.